The screen goes blank. I don't touch that at all. All right, we on?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting of the Charter Commission for August 28th, 6:30 PM. We have a quorum. Everyone is here except for Herb Bell, and we expect him.
Hey,
Here he is. We have a full complement. Thank you, Herb. You would pass that over to Herb.
This is for your records.
All right, you got the minutes for August 21st, our last meeting. Any comments? Somebody want to make a motion?
I won't approve, I just want to point out what I think is an extra letter.
Hang on. So, motion to approve, Sandy, is there a second? Thank you. Page?
It's page 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 down, Mr. Waystack, I think there's an extra S in there.
Mr. Waystack specifically?
Reference, S2-3.
Chapter 3, S2-3.
There's an S.
No, there's not.
Might be section?
No,
Okay, the S isn't there?
I don't think, well, maybe that's it.
Richard?
I don't see it.
Are you looking at it, Richard?
No, but I will look at it. Hold
It's
on.
not a big deal either. I have to look it up and see if it's matched.
It's chapter 3, section 2-3.
So that is S. The section, the S is there,
Yeah.
okay. Any other comments? Any other comments? You ready to vote? Motion is on the floor to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Great.
Abstain.
Okay, so we got
I read it, but I wasn't here.
8-0, 1 abstention. Thank you. All right,
If you only knew.
continuing business. The contract with the Collins Group was looked at by Lou and Sandy and me, and it has gone to the town administrator because the town holds the funds. Even though there are funds, the town has to sign the contract. So our interim acting, I'm not sure what he is at this point, our acting town administrator has it, and he just wants Eric
Kincher.
to just look at it, so he has a second set of eyes on it, but we should be good to go.
Kincher is.
Our
Acting finance director.
acting finance director, everybody's acting,
Linda,
yes.
do you sign that, or will Tony be
Tony
signing?
will sign it.
Okay.
It doesn't have to go to town council.
No,
It's under
it's under
50.
$50,000. Town administrator can sign. And the Collins Group will be present at our September 4th meeting.
Excellent.
Sir?
If I may make, I'm going to be out, I think I told you last
Yes.
week, the 4th and the 11th. Judy sends her invoices to me on a weekly basis. I sign them the day I get them and turn them in. So I'm not going to be there those 2 days, so should I have them send them to the
Me.
town? You?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll sign them.
Okay, good. I'll tell them that.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
I'll also be out on the 11th.
And I've already told you I may be out on the 12th.
So,
We're all going to be out various times. It's
Yeah.
various meetings.
well,
I'm
4th is not the one you want to miss.
4,
okay?
11, and 18.
okay, so, and we have Tony will be out 4, 11, and 18. Okay, I mean, people, it's okay, as long as we have a quorum, but also the meetings are on YouTube, so you do get an opportunity to watch the meetings to keep yourselves up to date.
Yeah, Tony.
I'll be in Yellowstone.
Oh.
I won't be.
I'm gonna be in Iceland,
Iceland,
I'll
you're
watch
not
'em
going
when
to
I
be
get back.
watching either.
because I'm not gonna be here
And I was in St. John last year.
the 18th.
I know.
Town
but
meeting. I'm
that's
watching the damn
your-
town meeting on my
your
vacation.
craziness.
I volunteered to carry suitcases for
Yeah,
anybody,
Iceland is fabulous.
and I'm gonna leave it
Which
quarter
of
of
the two you're
8.
going to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
out, Linda, the 18th and the 25th, was it?
Yes, so and Linda's out the 18th and the 25th.
I've got a conflict on the 4th.
Okay. Well,
Who can make it on the 4th?
Maybe.
Will you be here?
I don't know.
You don't know, that's the one you don't know.
Okay, 1,
I can't.
2, 3, 4.
Not a quorum. And Collins could be here, but we won't.
All right, should I tell Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Well,
No,
the
I-
Collins people.
Is he gonna be like first on the ticket?
You know what, to be honest with you, if you only could be here for a little bit, we should, as many as possible should be here when they're here.
Got it.
Is there any huge rush about it? Because we did just put it off to the first meeting in October. Isn't
Let-
it?
First Thursday of the month.
I won't be here for that
So,
one.
You won't be here for that one? Oh, good.
well, we gotta pick a day, we gotta get this going.
Good, have it, yeah.
So let me see if I can get them to move
So there's not a
to
quorum?
10-2.
Quorum?
I can abscond from lodge and I'm just the electrician.
I'm trying to, okay,
You turn the lights
I
on?
get a big charge out of that.
okay.
Well, we
All
got,
right.
it's not simple lighting.
A little focus here. So it sounds like we may not have a quorum on the 4th.
Sounds
I can be here.
He can be here.
So then we have quorum, but it is just quorum.
What,
And are we ready to?
We need to meet. It's not that much of a rush, I mean, we probably aren't gonna tap them much for a
what are they
while.
cover on the first meeting? What are they gonna cover on the first meeting? If it's
Well,
within
this
the
is, this is
agreement?
to meet us
Right,
and to talk with us. I would think it was to meet us, to talk about what we've been doing, what we've been talking about, and give them background as to what's been happening. So,
Third week of September, or is that when you're away?
Yeah, you said 18
I'm
and
gone the 18th
25.
and the 25th. So it sounds like we may not have a quorum on the, we'll barely have a quorum on the 4th. So that probably isn't a good
We don't
idea.
wanna do it
No.
that night anyway.
Yeah.
Too many not here. Paul, are there places where you can't be here?
I think in September, at least, it's only the 4th. I should be able to make the other 3.
Okay,
First Thursdays get to be a problem for me.
yeah. All right, so I will email the Collins people and
The second or third?
get them to move to the
The
2nd,
second,
October
because
2nd.
she's not here. Oh,
Richard's
October
not here.
2nd.
No, I was gonna say
Doesn't matter.
the second or third Thursday in October?
That's all, I think that's getting,
I'm here the rest of the time, just that one time.
Same issue with me there, though.
do you want to make it the 9th, October 9th?
That
Yeah,
sounds
if-
perfect.
If they're available.
We've got the, community
Yep.
center
That's the
that night.
community center.
We'll
Okay.
do that.
All right, and if anybody else at this point, the 4th is
We're bagging the 4th.
almost, are we going to?
Well, if we're not gonna have a quorum, let's just bag it now.
Well, we have a quorum, because there's 9, and there's right now 4 that won't, oh, Paul won't be here. Yeah, we have to, okay, so cancel 9-4, it's a quorum issue.
And for me, it's just if I have a evaluation
Yeah.
for, on that Thursday for cataracts dealer, you know?
Oh, so your eyes, yeah.
Boo-hoo, and I don't know whether it's in the morning or late afternoon. They haven't given me a time yet, so if it's late afternoon, I'm gonna be like this and not gonna be much use.
Okay, so we're gonna cancel the 4th quorum issue, good. We're going to
Okay.
move the Collins consultants to the 9th, October 9th.
Good.
Okay, so those 2 things are done. All right. And responses from town agencies, I sent you the one, we're not gonna discuss it tonight. We're gonna hold it for the time being. But, we got the one from water, wastewater. First in,
way to go.
and,
First time, but they would prefer last review.
well, they'll get on when I get them on.
Just the messenger
Put your
here.
name
Was
in
that
the
undue influence?
No, I am not asking. I'm repeating what the chair asked me to repeat.
So, and I expect to get the finance committee sent to us. They have a draft. I haven't seen it, but there is a draft, and they're gonna discuss it and finalize it. And the same thing with capital outlay. They're working on-
David's writing it. He's overwhelmed.
So, but I think that, so we've got three of the larger groups. which I think is good.
The capital outlay should be, we meet again tomorrow, and I think that'll finish that up.
Yep, because Martha called me, Martha Donovan, who
Oh,
was the
good, okay.
chair, to let me know that they wouldn't make the September 1st, and I gave her a pass. And I know the Finance Committee, same thing, meetings in the summer and trying to get this accomplished. So I think that's good. So, all right. And just one more thing, you got passed out it's a memo and it's a report that Emily Mitchell, our town clerk, did last year. And it is information on regulatory committees, what you have to have, what's charter, what's this, what's that. And it's a very nice spreadsheet. So I think it's well organized.
Yeah.
So you can have it for your review, and also passed out as we get more into the select board appointments per the charter. Most of you turned in some information on, according what you can read in the charter of the individual towns, what it looks like the select board appoints.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Leaving out committees, all the town agencies, but, so, I think, so continuing on, Chapter 3, Select Board, and Chapter 4, Town Administrator. So I think if you just turn to that little chart that's passed out, it's interesting. The fire chief and police chief, it's a mixed bag as to whether the Select Board appoints or a town administrator, town manager. Very interesting. So there's not a way to do it. They all appoint the town council. Some appoint the Board of Assessors in their charter. There are some places where these boards are elected. You know, the select board is doing the registrars, the assessors, the electors. The constables are also, some are done by the select board, some are done another way. Brewster elects their constables. And in Sandwich, the select board appoints the town clerk.
That was amended originally when those charter review was pushed up to the State House, they had it elected. But in looking over their website, I found a newer amendment, changing it to being appointed.
Appointed. So it's not like, you know, one of the things we were seriously discussing last week was, should the select board appoint the fire chief and the police chief? And of course, we had the discussions on what does appoint mean. And personally, I don't care how they get here. I'm personally more interested in the management of the position. Who's managing the position? I'm more interested in that. And I don't care, I mean, personally, I don't care if the select board appoints everybody. Who manages them?
Well, compared to all the other towns, Harwich pretty much appoints everybody.
Yeah,
There's more appointing authority on the part of the select board than any other town.
I think most of the others are getting more into their town manager, town administrator, does more of the appointing.
And if you have a discussion, I know we talked about bringing in the acting town
Yes.
administrator. In a discussion with him, I don't want to speak for him. I would like him to speak for himself. But he is a believer of town managers and town administrators being the hiring agent. And then, and I think this goes back to Lou, in the organizational chart, he said in any organization, military, town, business, the organization is chairs very clear, defined channels of who reports to who reviews, who. It's cloudy. And looking at some of this stuff, Yarmouth has got by far the worst charter that I've seen. You know, 2 places and they appoint. What does appoint mean? Who
Yeah,
hires? Who reviews? Who manages? I'm still of a belief, and especially after speaking to him, and I would like him to come in and speak for himself,
Yeah, he will.
to speak to the board. of why he feels it's important. He's been town administrator in 2 communities, and he brings that experience with him. And what really concerned me last week was hearing that of the appointees of the select board now, no one is reviewing those people.
And I think that's,
And the select board is not reviewing them? They don't have a mechanism?
They just
I
haven't
know you
done it.
just
They
smiled.
haven't done it.
I'm not,
But to be fair, Judith, it's unclear in the charter
No, absolutely.
because of what is the responsibility for someone hiring and someone reviewing.
When they go for their contract review or contract increase, there's gotta be some kind of metrics that are.
Every 3 years.
one would think.
I think the last time anything like that
Would
was
think.
done was the desk audit that Marvin did when he was here.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that's an issue. So I think it's good. I think we also are going to ask the Collins Group if they could give us some advice on that. But I think that asking Mr. Chiavi to show up here, to appear and talk about that very issue, because it brings to mind those of us who watch football. What did Bill Belichick say? He wanted to be the one buying the groceries. Because then he knew what he bought, he was supervising, he was in charge. So, John,
Linda, so if the selectmen, on your chart there, the select board appoints these X's, am I to guess or assume that if the select board doesn't do it, the town administrator or manager does it then?
yes, I think that's the assumption.
That's right, okay, I mean, who else would do it?
Right. But this was just looking at the charters, like the Harwich Charter has very specific,
Yeah,
there's half dozen or so, 8 positions that the select board appoints, and just looking at, and the fire chief and the police chief are the ones who are really coming up, because it seems like town council probably should be the select board. But should the town accountant or the director of finance be the select board or be town administrator?
And then just to put a bow on this, Harwich has an HR person.
Yes, we do.
That changes some of the dynamics of hiring. And it takes away some of the ways of going around and hiring someone, nepotism or whatever you're looking for. That HR person is the one that's recruiting, bringing them in.
One
So,
would think.
I don't know if that's happening at all.
I know.
It's
but
not
we-
happening now.
But what we have to do is we have to say, what should it be?
Right,
And then drive towards that.
right.
But if you have an HR person, by God, that's the person that should,
Depends on how high up that HR director is.
okay.
Yeah.
I think at this point, the person is reporting to either the assistant town administrator or the assistant town administrator. So that's already not a position that's up here with a serious department
Right.
head.
Well, I think you've got a structure right now that has the HR person reporting to both the select board
Mhm.
and the town administrator.
That we'll have to deal
And I
with.
don't know how that works.
Well, and I
Does
know, yeah, we should really strive not to have dotted lines or
no.
dual reporting, because all it does is muck up the
Yeah.
Yeah.
person.
My purpose, though, is from an organizational perspective, we have someone that really ties into one person hiring. Because all the tools, at least from an organizational perspective, are there. Doesn't mean it'll work,
Right.
but the tools are there to make it work, the structure.
And
Theoretically,
when you say hiring, you're talking about the HR person acting as a conduit of all the resumes and doing the pre-interviews.
Isn't that what an HR person does?
Well, it doesn't a larger organization, in a small organization.
School departments, that's not what HR does.
huh?
Hmm.
Sorry?
School departments, that's not what the HR
What
person
does
does.
the HR person do?
The benefits,
Yeah.
That's true.
it's huge benefits, helps staff with issues.
Yeah.
So
Um,
isn't a hiring.
It's not hiring.
So it's really a,
And I don't-
Recruiting
I
is
don't-
not the word
They
hiring.
don't,
don't
they
think-
don't recruit. They don't recruit.
And I don't think there was any intention for this
No.
HR person to do that.
To-
I think this was supposed to be a place where the employees could
Could go
to
and-
resolve issues, and
Right.
that's where the.
And so
split-
let's walk through how it works.
No.
Okay.
No, we're
This
gonna
is-
walk through what
this-
we're doing.
Okay.
This is
Go
where
ahead.
this is where the divided authority becomes a problem. Because theoretically, if, whoever the person is that hires the HR person, select board, town administrator, if the idea is a safe place for employees to bring their grievances and their problems, what do they do if their grievance or problem is one or the other?
Or both.
But that's what they get paid to,
But there's
handle.
if it's a proximity sort of thing, I don't know where this HR director is camped at the moment, but if your office is right next door to.
well, that's,
That's another, but that's more of a physical issue, I think, than
Okay.
anything.
We're a little off topic here on this.
Sorry, that was just a bell line.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
may I ask through you
It's not.
to Ms. Underwood,
Wrong one.
What do you want?
in
Go
your,
ahead.
in your experience on the water wastewater,
Thank you.
take one of those.
do you hire the director? The board?
Superintendent,
Yes.
so again, it's this word hire, so we did a call out RFP in the professional circles for resumes, and we did interviews. We narrowed down and we did interviews, and we selected the superintendent, and then it went to the town administrator for approval and final hiring. And I put hiring in quotes, because they did the final
Paperwork.
contractual legal. It never came up that the town administrator would not accept the superintendent, but quite frankly, he's a fabulous candidate, so.
Yeah, but it's not about the
Yeah.
candidate, it's about the process. And so being that,
So
Who
in the
reviews-
charter, we have the authority to hire, but apparently there had been pushback from the last TA or the previous one on that authority within the water wastewater. But we just went forward and did it, and.
I think
so
what
just to
Richard-
follow up if I can,
Go ahead.
does your elected board review the superintendent?
Yes, we do, but again, we do those reviews. The staff also does anonymous reviews of the superintendent, and that gets compiled and that gets sent up. I can look at my notes, I believe it goes to the town administrator and not to the select board.
To answer your question, Richard, I think the process is because at the library, the trustees have full authority to hire and supervise all staff. So we do a personnel review on the director, and that is coupled with, so it gets sent up to the town administrator, and it's attached to the ability to give her an increase. So that's the payroll part of it, that,
But it does not mean that the town administrator can take a review that was done by the library trustees,
and
change it,
No,
and negate any potential increase.
no, the town administrator cannot.
So it's just
do that.
signing off for the payroll, basically.
Because one of the things is that while the library trustees have the authority over their staff, we still are required to follow town process. So if it's a form because somebody's going on vacation, we have to do that. If the form to get somebody their step increase, their longevity and all that stuff. We still have to follow established process, but the town administrator has no authority to change a review.
And thank you, that's the word that I'm looking for. When the authority, whether it's wastewater, water, whether it's library trustees, whether it's finance director, police chief, fire chief, where is the authority? That
Well-
someone is hiring, I know where it says.
Under
It
the
got-
charter, it's very clear that the Water and Wastewater Commission shall
Right.
appoint their superintendent.
And when I look at some of these words, frankly, appoint, administer, what does administer mean?
Yeah, I think this would be great to have a very simple glossary at the end that really defines what we are articulating about. Because, for example, I was first appointed to be a water wastewater commissioner when the previous commissioner had stepped down for family reasons. And I was appointed, like literally appointed by the select board for that remaining 3-month period until the next election, and then I became elected. So that, to me, in a political science terminology, that's an appointment.
Well, I think that,
Whereas hiring someone.
That's my point, is
Hiring.
why can't we say hires?
hiring,
I think, and I
Town
think that's a
administrator
good trend,
or the
'cause we
select
do-
board hires,
yeah.
To remind everybody,
So hires
we
is
have,
money, appoint is volunteer.
God knows.
Oh,
Well, but if you're
yeah,
talking
Except that-
glossary,
yeah.
I just
I
want
mean,
to,
but you're not,
Yeah,
yes, you get a
$1,000 a year
stipend.
is not
yeah,
a
well,
salary.
Uh, that's a stipend.
Thank you.
just to
I didn't even
remind
know I was gonna
everybody,
get paid.
we are
So-
going to request that into the definitions that shall means must. So we've got that on our consensus topics list, that shall means you gotta do it.
Yes. I
Not
think that's
advisory.
true.
so that, let's,
So let's go back to that.
Yeah.
What do we think appoint is? Administer, hire. What do we think hire means?
Contractually,
No, because not everybody works under a contract. The union works under a contract.
or agreement, I mean, it's a legal
It's still a
agreement.
contract.
How
Still-
about if hire means you're a paid employee?
Full or
Employee.
part-time employee.
You're a paid employee for hire. How's that?
Your definition could say hire refers to paid full and part-time employees.
And who's not paid, right? Just commissions,
Us.
commissions,
Or
trusts,
most
library.
of the, yeah, we get a stipend through town
Mhm.
as elected officials. There are some elected officials that do get.
That's an exception.
I get appointed and I get paid too.
Do you get paid?
How much you get a
You
year?
have a grievance against the union. You get
$500
paid.
for an assessor, $500 a year for an assessor.
They didn't up it. They upped
No.
us like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
But that's a good point. Hires meaning,
And I imagine there's probably somewhere in Mass General laws where that you could refer to for a definition of employee.
But technically, I am
Special.
I am an employee
Yes,
because
we
they-
get paid
they
as
do
employees.
all the
Yeah.
W-2.
But you are a special, I am classified as a special employee.
Special
I get paid, I get a paycheck,
And they take out.
I get my
tax.
$40
Then why not
a
add-
month.
Select board
Hey,
So
guys,
Linda, why
stop.
not add
Correct.
another
Yeah.
special employee, special
employee.
appointment?
Are we, so, yes, you're right. We are, the people who get paid
We're all special
through the
employees.
town. We're all special employees,
Yeah,
but
we're
there
all
are special
special.
employees that actually get paid.
get paid.
We're special employees here by being elected to this.
Right.
There are some special employees that actually get a stipend.
And if you serve on a committee, you're still considered, I believe, a special employee.
Yes, a special employee.
Selectmen by and large will specify whether there are special town
Special.
employees. I think that's Mass General law.
But back to the point of hired.
Thank you.
You know, we need to have a word in there that should be consistent throughout, whether the wastewater or water wastewater are hiring a superintendent, whether the library trustees are hiring a director, whether the town is hiring a police chief. You know, we need to clarify and really take some of the ambiguity out of these words that are used throughout this charter.
All right. So I think there needs to be some, what's the difference between appoint and hire? Because I think that's part of this, because we're also, the select board here appoints the town administrator, but that's a full-time paid position as an employee.
so full-time, part-time employees need to be defined.
No,
No?
they all get
Hired.
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 Everybody's getting
They're
hired.
getting hired.
I'm not a part-time employee, I'm a special employee. A part-time employee would be like the woman who does the
But
recording.
a part-time employee would be hired by a director?
Yes, they could be hired all
Okay.
over, like Judith, who
Well,
does our
I'm-
minutes.
Right now, I'm just stuck on town
Well, ours is
administrator and
currently-
board of selectmen.
Ours is the.
That's where
ours
my
is the-
focus
See,
is.
and I want to get rid of a point.
Yeah, I don't-
Totally.
Yeah,
And it's frankly, the select board hires a town administrator.
right.
And that, the next word that I want to look at, because everywhere in here, so they administer. So when a town administrator is hired by the select board, the town administrator reports to the select board. When the library trustees hire a director, the director reports to the library trustees, not the town administrator,
That's correct.
not the select board. The water superintendent is hired by your elected special employee board, who then he reports to. He reports to your board because you do his evaluation.
Except the wastewater part is still,
We'll get to that later.
okay, but
We'll-
it's
we'll-
still
that's-
technically under
right.
the.
But, right, it's
select
underwater,
board.
right. Again, that's, we'll change that.
Well,
But my
wastewater-
point is an example of each and every one of those.
The wastewater is under the Board of Selectmen to build the
Right.
system.
Right.
But the management,
operation of the
right.
management of the system is under the Water Wastewater.
And the
Committee-
word should be
Commission.
changed to sewer.
When they
okay,
hire.
we're off topic.
We're off topic.
Right, let's get back
Off
to,
topic, continue, Richard.
I would like to see those words utilized so that there's no ambiguity of who do I report to? I've been hired by, if either the select board or the town administrator hires the police chief. The police chief is reporting to the town administrator. Everybody, in essence, will be reporting to the select board through the town administrator.
Yes.
Because he will run the town,
Or she.
or she, or whoever will run the town. The town administrator reports to the select board, and they are the ones who are reviewing him, evaluating him, and making changes as necessary, which is spelled out in the charter. But all of these other things, we need to make it clear, without question, so that a police chief, a fire chief, a town administrator, a finance director, an HR person, who do they report to? Who hires them?
So, you would be okay with the charter saying, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but to see if I can wrap my ears around everything I'm hearing, which is the select board will hire the police chief and the fire chief. Let's just stick with those two, because
Yeah.
it's just two.
That's not what I said, because I don't believe that, but
And those two positions will report directly to the town administrator. Or we could be saying, the select board hires the town administrator. The town administrator hires everybody else.
We're not
Well,
gonna
just,
say that.
I'm just gonna.
we might
leave
say
it-
that.
I'm just gonna leave that, we're just gonna
With
talk the
board
two, the fire chief and police chief.
Can I ask
Go
a
ahead.
question? My understanding was that the finance director
Yes,
Advice and
Hired
consent.
by the
is
select-
hired, is appointed by the select board at this point.
so that it's my brain, it's a not a catch, but
Well, there's a conflict. I'm just sticking
Not-
with
not a
I'm
conflict,
just
but
sticking
it's-
with the two.
so that they're not sitting under, specifically so that they're not sitting under the TA, because they are meant as a check and balances
Maybe,
for the TA, in a positive way, right? I mean, this is,
that's a
See, but, and I
possibility.
don't know why that would occur, because the finance director does the finance of the town. The checks and balances are major in place. We have a finance committee. We have a select board. We have a town meeting. All of those are the checks and balances, because a select board can put a budget together, which can be amended at town meeting. You can have a finance committee version of a budget, which is different than the select board, with And again, with the select board saying, we're having the final say, the finance committee are going to make a recommendation to town meeting that may be very different and has been different than the select board's recommendation. The town administrator prepares the budget that everyone else approves. I would prefer to see a finance director on the TA, because if they're reporting to the select board are making their opinion and recommendation on a budget. That might be different than the finance committees. So to have a check and balance in place, I would rather have it under the TA. So when they're sitting at a staff meeting, that finance director who oversees the town accountants, who oversees the assessing department, that's under that channel of authority. There's more of a chance of a select board who hires and evaluates a finance director having more undue influence on a budget or a finance director than the town administrator.
You're directing responsibility.
Correct.
And that's all this does, is you don't have to worry about whose fault it was. The selectman always knows whose fault it is. It's the town administrator. It's always the case.
It
There's
is.
no ambiguity in that.
So,
But my question is not about fault, and I understand what you guys are both saying, but my understanding of the way the town is currently set up is for practical purposes of a checks and balances within, so that the TA is not lording over a finance director, so that a finance director is semi-independent?
I'm not sure that's true.
Right.
No?
I don't, from
And I think we need-
practicality,
Yeah.
that's not true.
Judith, we have to be
Okay.
so careful, not the way that things are running, it's really how things should be running. And we have to take,
That was my
yeah,
understanding of how things were supposed to run. And I mean this in a positive way, I don't mean this in a negative
yeah.
way. And maybe I'm incorrect, that's why I'm asking the question.
Sure.
I think it is not clear, because again, you get back to a point, but who is on the finance director? A select board appoints the finance director, and I don't think we have a clear answer yet as to who does that person's personnel review
Well, that's.
and directs the, and I think that rather than worry about what is or isn't happening, how would we like it to look?
The idea that the finance director is not reviewed by the TA, so that takes away that,
I think the finance director is
Power challenge.
probably reviewed by the TA. Because the select board, we heard last week, they're not reviewing anybody.
Well, there
And-
isn't
Linda,
anything.
Paul's
there
been trying to
isn't
get in for a
anything-
while.
Paul,
Just to offer a comment here, I think
yeah.
we're a little bit lost in that. I go back to my comment last week about the people. The people are the ultimate authority here. They have the vote, they call the shots, and I think if we drift too far afield from that. So they put the select board in place directly by the ballot. And thus they have kind of the ultimate say on who the select board is. To me, the point you made earlier about, you were sort of saying options. Let the select board appoint everybody, let the town administrator review those appointees. To me, the select board are part-time, show up, sign a few warrants, deal with issues, make decisions, but the administrator's the guy who's interacting, or the woman who's interacting with the folks who are performing the duties of the town. And he or she is in position to best, well, two things, I think. One is to best know how the position is being performed, as well as to sort of say, to the select board, let's go back. The select board are part-time people. They don't have time to come in and hold regular interviews with the 30 people here in the town. They don't have the knowledge of the day-to-day involvement, decisions that are being made and so forth internally. So I think, I feel pretty strongly that the proper order is the people elect the Board of Selectmen. The selectmen should be able to appoint the majority of the key people in the town, and one of those being the town administrator, and the town administrator being involved in the day-to-day affairs is in the best position, and it can set aside the time necessary to interview and review the people in terms of their performance. And I think to get into the select board, reviewing, I mean, it's kind of a administrative, ministerial position. It's not a policy-making position, in my view. So when you earlier said there's a scene where you could have town select board appoints pretty much the majority of the players, and the town, including the town administrator, then reviews them. The end result is that if there's something wrong with the town, the select board is in the position, the voters will so respond with that objection or concern by changing the Board of Selectmen. So I think the select board are in the position to appoint, but
Okay.
not day-to-day stuff.
So we're getting back to
When you say
that,
appoint, you mean hire.
Higher.
okay,
Can I just say, but Paul, you just made a great
Well,
point.
it's-
You made a great point of saying that, in essence, the town administrator, who's doing all the day-to-day, the reviews, the part-time selectmen don't have time to look at.
Right, yeah.
So
I mean-
the town administrator should be the one hiring those people.
and that's
Because
where
he's
we
got the
are.
time, the expertise, and the select board don't. I will take issue with the fact that the townspeople will hold a select board member accountable. They don't. It's a popularity contest in this town. Whoever's the most popular gets
Any
elected.
town.
Right, so in
But all
fact,
things are popularity.
Yeah, no, I
contests,
get
all
it.
elections.
so the theoretical
Nobody
of,
pays, issues don't decide.
right, that's exactly.
People.
Right, and that's why I think
Personality.
the professional person who has the knowledge of what is necessary for a town should be hiring and evaluating. If you hire me and Lou's gonna review me and say, well, you didn't hire me. You hired me. How am I doing?
Yeah, but
Because you're the one who can hire me and you're the one who can fire me.
Or give me a raise.
yeah,
Right.
So it sounds like we're getting, I want to hear from some other people. John, you haven't said a word yet. What do you think?
I agree with Paul, and I guess Richard is away, but I like how Chatham does it. You know, how they leave it up to the town administrator to appoint most of their positions in.
Hire.
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 Hire. Let's start
Hire.
using the word hire.
You know, the ones that they,
Underpaid.
the one that Chatham hires is the TA, the general counsel, board of registrars, and elected officials, which I guess is very common.
The election officials,
I
yeah.
was just doing a total of the numbers here, you know, and it seems like just about every town does hire the town administrator.
Yes,
or
they do.
manager. And 7 of them hire the town council, and 6 hire the board of assessors, board of registrars, and elected officials. So that, and then the town administrator, manager, reviews them, governs them on a daily basis, and can fire them. But he can only fire them under the approval of the selectmen.
Right.
They have a time period of 15 days
Yeah.
to, selectmen can either not even vote on it, and if they get fired after 15 days, or can intercede and say, no, you can't fire them within those 15 days. So there's a check and balances there. The town administrator, manager can't arbitrarily just walk in one day and say, you're fired, Mr. Police Chief. And there's a process for hearings once they get fired too. But so I like the way that Chatham does it. They only have 4 positions that they appoint or hire. Is again, the TA, council, board of registers, and the elected officials. It's simple. It's 4 people that they're responsible
How
for.
do they hire elected officials?
Or
Election
election
officials.
officials.
Town
Election officials.
election.
I always get that, but so, that's what I would favor if we get to the voting process. It's simple. It's too confusing to have somebody else hire someone and the other person manages them.
Oh, and I absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
That's my opinion on this
So-
hiring and firing of.
So it sounds like we're getting to a select board, and basically, town administrator does most everyone.
Yep.
Uh,
I don't-
you
I
know,
don't see
leaving out
Orleans
the-
or
and I mean,
Yarmouth
we-
here.
We'd have words in the charter that were
Okay.
we'd have words in the charter like, with the exception of the water superintendent and the people over at the library, but leaving out the exceptions. Town administrator, mostly everyone, select board,
Hires.
and it's hire. And the select board hires council.
Well, let's think about it.
I don't.
Now, I'm just putting,
Let's think about
I
it.
don't
what
think
I'm
that's.
doing is I'm putting up the, something to talk, because we're beep, 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 beep.
Are you gonna finish going around the table?
I am,
No.
but it sounds like this is what we're doing. Now, Herb, I haven't heard from you.
I think the
That's mine.
town manager ought to have the higher ability, review ability. Depending on the nature of the position, I guess importance to the overall scheme of things, on releasing people or terminating people, I think the TA ought to have authority, but I think there ought to be some kind of check.
The checks are really the union contracts and
your
everybody,
HR.
and other contracts and all the HR rules and all that. That's kind of the check.
But what about non-contract?
You-
They're probably-
Everyone's
most of them are
contracted
unions.
one way or
Well,
another.
most
Yeah.
of them are, not
Yeah.
all.
Some
Lawyers.
employees are not.
No, not all.
Most
Yeah,
town
not all,
council,
but-
mostly hired.
But if you leave out the special employee, the full-time or part-time employees, I'm gonna call them the real employees, the full-time, part-time, they're either under some kind of
Not really
contract,
employee.
they're under some kind of contract, they're under a union,
So they've
they're in the
got,
personnel bylaw. They've got,
As a practical matter.
as a practical matter, there is, and nobody in this town can actually just fire somebody. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
If-
that-
Even the
that goes
town
with it.
administrator,
It's hard
there
to
is a
fire people.
procedure.
It's very hard to fire.
It's very
Right.
distinct procedure in our charter right now.
Right.
If they want to fire, their hire is the town administrator. For them to fire a town administrator, it's very specific in what must be done.
And in the union contracts, it's very specific
Right.
in what must be done.
Yeah.
In most HR law, it's very specific, you know, unless somebody is running through and just beating somebody with an axe. More than likely, you have to have all the warnings and the conversation, beep, 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 beep. There's a whole process that goes with actually terminating someone. In today's world, whether it's municipality, the schools, you know,
That's municipality, yeah.
government, businesses, there's
Or
a,
cause.
there's a hoop to do to get rid of someone. So, what do you have to say for yourself?
But,
You're pretty
other than I got a little bit warmer.
good.
No, but I think.
I see you got those hands.
I know, yes.
What do you do in the
Um,
wintertime?
Oh, I layer. I always have gloves. I have, my koozie is always with me.
Do you have those heated gloves?
Yes, I have, yes. I have a blanket on.
I think that went off topic very
It
quickly.
did, I'm sorry.
I'm interested in
I
the koozies.
Okay,
I think the town administrator should do the hiring, evaluating, and firing if necessary.
okay.
I don't think the select board has the knowledge that's needed to hire staff.
Let me just interject one point.
Sure.
Let's take, for example, the police chief or the fire chief. People that interact with the public and are important players in terms of the lives of people. The finance director doesn't really interact with the community, but the fire chief does. Well, they interact indirectly, but
No,
nobody.
it's the important part, the
You're
money.
not important finance.
Yeah,
No,
the
no,
finance
I don't,
people
but
are
that's not
important.
what he's saying.
Let him, he's got
Yeah.
the floor.
The town could tell you who the finance director.
He's got the
Right.
floor. Yeah.
And they don't have direct involvement.
Right.
Yes, they come in and pay their bills, yes, they have some financial requests, but for the most part, it's a position that doesn't kind of interact with their daily lives like the police and the fire department do. And maybe maybe there are other people that fit into this category as well. But my point being that the people that interact with the public, I think the public has the ability through the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board to act favorably or negatively with the people that appointed those folks, the fire chief, the police chief. If they're appointed by the Select Board, the public in essence has some means of sending a message if they're not feeling like the people who are involved with their important public safety are not doing their job. But I don't think the Select Board has the time, I can't emphasize this enough, in terms of interviewing or at least reviewing performance of players. That's clearly in the role of the administrator. So when we say we're going to have the Select Board not appoint many people, we'll have the finance. Well,
Fire.
I'm in favor of the finance director of the town administrator appointing most of the positions. There are a few positions that I think are sensitive enough that the Select Board should appoint. But in no case do I feel the Select Board, whether they appointed them or they didn't appoint the person or hire or not hire the person, should be reviewing the performance of those players.
Okay?
I
I think we're agreed on the town administrator should be doing the reviews. I think that's a general, we agree on that?
Right.
It's a pretty general agreement. Okay, Sandy, you
All
had
of
your
them.
hand.
Well,
Police, fire, even
I'm
ones
about
that-
90% there with the finance director, and I'm also thinking about how things have been going in the last 2 years of trying to hire and keep a finance director. I'm going
Can
through
I excuse you for a minute? The finance director doing what?
being hired by the town administrator.
Thank you.
Um,
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I didn't know what you meant.
I didn't know.
I mean,
All right, fine.
it's not between you two.
Well, because I've been on the other side
But-
of this,
but-
so, yeah. The finance director makes sense, and again, we haven't exactly been successful doing it the way we've been doing it, with a consultant and a revolving door of finance directors. So that's good. I'm not on board at this point with the public safety services. I think that's a whole different discussion, and I'd very much like to talk to both the chiefs before we even consider that.
Okay,
Yeah, and I'd like to learn the history of why it was set up that way.
What they see as the pitfalls or the
Yeah.
advantages, because I'm sure they both have opinions about that.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Can we then request both of Kevin and David, either written or being here, to have that discussion? And I think you've just come around the whole table with one strong dissent, that you're talking pretty much the appointment by the TA of everyone
The
right now
hiring.
outside, the hiring outside of the public safety.
I think yes, I think so. I
And
think we're,
water, wastewater.
Well,
and-
but that's automatic, right? That's,
right, those are the
Right.
but
exceptions.
of the point, and then I think it's a good point. Let's bring them in, and I want to ask them specifically. Have you, in your time as a chief, been reviewed by those who hired you? And if not, how do we know? We do have a process at a select board meeting when public comment comes in. If someone has a major issue with a chief or a department, that will go to the select board, which will then be brought back down through the channel of the select board to the TA. But whether you want it written, I'd love to have them at the table.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
So it sounds like we are in agreement, general agreement, Paul, that the town administrator is gonna hire most everybody of the town departments, except, and we're unclear on police and fire, and with the exception of library and the water superintendent, those two exceptions. And that the select board would be hiring the town administrator, council, and the election people. And everything else goes to the town administrator.
Mhm.
That seems to be
That's general consensus.
Do we think we've gotten to a consensus there?
Do we
We're
need to
not
add
clear.
evaluation into that?
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Well, hire and evaluate
Okay.
and supervise, yeah, yeah.
Few
Okay.
of those people.
Huh?
Right, that's
Who's going to
so,
review?
Paul, which they should say was hire
I know.
and evaluate. So hire and
Oh.
evaluate. The TA will hire all except
And evaluate them?
Yes,
Correct.
I
Yeah.
just asked that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
outside of public safety that we will hold in abeyance.
public safety, we're holding police and fire off to the side because we're split.
Mhm.
So we will ask the chiefs to come in and have that conversation.
Right now, do the public safety, they report to the TA though, right?
They
Not
report to
clear.
the
Well, select board.
Select board,
Not according to the org chart, they don't.
Right,
The
according to the org
chiefs.
chart, they don't.
Right.
They do, excuse me.
No, they don't.
They,
But to the charter,
No, they don't. According to the org chart, they report up to the town administrator.
yes, that's. But
Yeah,
that's
I'm just-
what,
I'm just
No,
asking for
they're not
they're
clarification.
discussing
hired
evaluating.
by the town administrator.
no, but John is right. The org chart shows that they report to
Right.
the town administrator. That's why clarifying these words
Exactly.
is exactly what we do.
Yeah.
If the org chart is incorrect, which in some cases it may be, then it needs to be clarified.
Yeah, that's, I'm just looking for clarification.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree.
think we all are, John.
And I think
Because
once,
it's not clear
Right.
Yeah,
who is doing what. I think that who, on the org chart, that's a good TA discussion.
correct,
Do you think you're supposed to be reviewing the police and fire chief,
but so today, they report to the TA
according to that?
or to the org.
right, and that's a
all.
question I would like to ask when they're sitting
Yeah,
here.
okay, I just
Did the
wanted,
TA evaluate you?
yeah,
So Linda, you've got now 3 people coming in. You wanted to have Mr. Schiavi, you wanted to have the police chief and the fire chief.
Yeah,
What's the 4th?
Police and fire
got
could
the
come
consultant.
together.
Oh, yeah, the consultant too. But we need to schedule those people
Yes, we
to
do.
come in so we can
And
finalize.
I think that we needed to finalize where we were
Oh, no, I get it.
going
Before.
I get it.
before we start saying we have to do
Yeah.
this or we have to do that.
We also need to look at, under 5.4, chapter 5, section 4,
Section,
the police and fire department.
what page are you on?
I'm on page 12 and 13.
Right,
Both of these sections refer back to Mass General laws as far as how they operate.
right.
And I
Sure.
think we would do well to take a look at those.
Yeah, and one of those is the strong chief
Yes,
Yeah, the strong
statute, which
chief.
we have.
yes.
And
Yeah.
I don't, the other one, and I'll be happy to look up the
But
police.
this is, if select board
Yeah.
appoints the chief of police and other officers as they consider necessary, as provided.
Correct.
So I think we need to know what
General
those provide
Yep.
before we get,
And that's a great point when they come in,
yeah,
to have that information.
yeah.
Yeah, so those are the types of questions to ask.
Linda, I would recommend, since we have a lot of these questions of going on of what's happening right now, the unknown, the org chart, who's reporting to who, who's evaluating who, that you have the acting TA in first.
This is the one.
Clarification is something.
Okay, yes?
The TA can make all the appointments if Mass General Law, hires. If Mass General Law says that the board must do it, that doesn't mean the TA can't hire it and they have final sign off on it.
Right.
They do anyway.
Right,
But also the select board can delegate.
right.
And that was a question that came up this week at the select board meeting. There was a gentleman being hired, and God, mine's a terrible thing to waste, I forget where it was. But the board has a 2-week, 14-day rescission period
Yep.
for someone being hired. And the acting TA said, well, we need this person now, and he's getting other offers from other towns. I don't have 14 days to make a decision. And he said, we mentioned after the meeting, he said, that's an item that is good for discussion. When he comes in, I would like to have that discussion with him. They waived it to allow him to make the offer without that 14-day rescission.
But they can do that.
Anyway,
Mhm.
yeah.
They could do that anyways. It's just like they have 14 days to decide. They can decide on day 2.
And we need to clarify whether 14 days is calendar days or business
Right, no, that's a good
days.
point. You ma- yeah.
It's in my
Yeah.
list of
That's the
nits.
policy.
Does it have to be on an agenda or no?
It's gotta be on an
So
agenda.
then that's, maybe, yeah.
Lift them up, give them more responsibility.
I'm sorry,
And
Lou, what are you talking about?
We're talking about the select board having more responsibility and less duties. If they're making decisions like that, I don't want them making those decisions. I want them making policy. Here's the policy on hiring. Mr. TA, you follow it. There is a process where if they're not following it, it might come back to change the policy. But they should be focused on policy,
Agreed,
okay? So,
agreed. Another piece of this might be, do we want to propose some clarification or other limits on what the select board has this 14 days, whether it's calendar or business, this 14 days to agree or not agree? Does it include all town employees, the clerk down in the, assessor's office? Does it include everybody, or should that 14 days just be senior department heads or something? How specific is
I
it?
think you get so
Yeah.
much.
I agree with your point, because the thing is, that's where you can get into the politics, the
exactly.
partisanship,
Exactly.
where the nepotism
The
comes in,
conflicts.
and the conflicts that could arise. Well, I don't like Tony's son, I don't want him hired. No, wait a minute, he's the best person for the job. You didn't interview him. You're gonna rescind it? And if it's gonna be rescinded, God, it should be 4/5.
If you're hiring the wrong people, you're fired.
Right, if you're a select board,
I don't want to be talking about who gets fired. Stop that, because that got the golf committee
Okay, I'm
in
sorry, I
serious
rescind
trouble.
it.
That got the golf committee
Okay.
in serious trouble. So let's be careful about that.
All right.
Thank you.
yeah, but you keep threatening to fire me from here, so that's,
But, well, you're different.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's special.
He's special.
Herb, give me some of that. That was good, Herb.
He's extra special.
That was
Can I
good.
have one special card, please?
Okay, so,
We got it. Do you have that yet, Sandy?
Yeah, it's page
Page-
8, responsibilities for
page 8?
appointments under the town administrator.
Page what?
8, section 4 down at the bottom.
and again, that word appoint, not hire. Subject to the approval of 3 or more affirmative votes. A possibility would be to change it to 4 affirmative votes.
Well,
Meaning
you
a
know,
supermajority.
They're only talking about division directors, department heads, and assistant town administrators there.
Yes, so
Then
that,
they go on to full-time employees, part-time employees of appointed town agencies, inspectors. And all it says is that they may be overturned by the affirmative vote of at least 4 selectmen taken within
Yep.
14 days. That's a pretty tall hill to climb.
and it also
So I
does
don't
say,
think it-
Why the 14 days? Why was that specific?
Give them time to meet, get it on an agenda and time to meet.
it has to be on an agenda.
If you appoint somebody, you could, as a matter of fact, I think there was a time when that was an issue a year or 2 ago, that the appointment was made on a day such that the select board couldn't meet in time to hit the 14 days. So that's why I'm asking calendar days or business days.
Right, so we've got that in the section of,
Okay,
but also that section 442 at the
Should
top
be,
of
but it
page
hasn't
9.
been treated that way.
But it doesn't have the waiver language there.
Right.
339, did you say?
4,
I'm
here.
I'm on page 9,
Oh, page 9, okay.
at the top, 442. Except as may otherwise be provided by general law, this charter, personal bylaw, or collective bargaining. The town administrator shall have the authority to appoint on the blah, 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 or remove. So there's another answer, Herb, to
It-
your, what are the,
Yeah.
And Sandy, with that, I mean, again, I shouldn't even say it. In the past, there have been members of the board, well, I want to see all those resumes. You're giving someone the authority to hire, now you want to second guess, you want to see the resumes. It's give them the power or don't. That's where I have the issue with that. That's, again, the select board's duties, is it policy, is it day-to-day? you shouldn't be hiring a part-time assistant in a department to review the resumes.
Day to day.
Correct. So that's why I have an issue with that, and I think it's either you have trust and faith in your TA, and if you don't, you should be taking action as a select board.
Well, I think that's been part of the problem. It's been a long time since there's been that trust.
But Sandy, if I may, if you're directing where the responsibility always lies,
Oh,
you
I
can't point
understand.
fingers, you change
I
things.
got that, I got that.
And,
I'm
and
saying
here's the
that-
thing is, but the fact is, if there was not a trust level, I don't care who the TA was, okay? If there's not a trust
They should
factor
have
with
done
a
something
TA,
about it.
then the select board has the responsibility. And what they were sworn to do
100%.
is to take action. So because they're not gonna take action, things get diverted. With the other reason, that person's bad, this person, no. You have the, and Paul's your point. People elect these people, get in office, do the damn job.
So how do they, without waiting till the election,
They have
Recall,
a process to get. to-
Recall.
Call them.
you
Yeah.
have to go
You
out,
can recall.
you can do a recall petition, you get X number of signatures, which is defined
Which
as
you
to
can-
how many you need, and you can have a recall, and then there is an election, which does not preclude, there's
It
actually
can.
gonna be almost two ballots on that recall. One is, we wanna get rid of Judith over here, but it doesn't stop Judith from getting her 50 signatures
But
and,
it- but
and
it-
running for
But
that
it-
same
But
position.
it
Right.
can, Linda, it can, if the charter says it can, because one of the, I think in Eastham, I was intrigued by the fact that it specifically stated that the person being recalled could not run for election in the same election.
But that's Eastham, that's not us.
It isn't us yet, but it could be.
Right, but it's not us yet.
No, but what I want you to put on your list of to do, if you would please, maybe we need to modify the number of signatures required for a recall, because knowing how hard it is to get 15% of the registered voters, a recall in our charter calls for 20%.
It's a lot, it's a hurdle.
It's huge. I'm thinking maybe more on the order of magnitude of 10. No, not 10 people, 10%.
okay.
500.
No, it needs to be a lift.
Should be a lift, right? No, I agree.
It can't be something
Yeah.
approached capriciously,
Yeah.
that's not my goal, but it is such a heavy lift that it's virtually, especially in a time where you no longer have the option of standing at the post office and the dump as much in places where you can actually get to people. It's really hard to get those signatures. Not that I would know, but Lou would know.
It's
Is the recall provision, and I'm asking this out of curiosity, is that defined in Mass General Law?
I
Or
have
is it
no
our
idea.
percentage?
It's
Paul?
divine.
It's defined.
So that 15% is defined in Mass General Law. So that kind of puts a
I
kibosh on
believe
that.
so.
I don't know
believe so.
that. I think it would be good to check, but I'm not sure that
Who's going to check that? Because
that
I don't want the royal we here. Who's gonna check that?
I'll do it.
Okay, so Sandy is gonna
Um,
check that.
I am not altogether sure too if that isn't one of those instances where we can do it our way.
Yeah.
Because there are those things that we can do
Yes, there
our
are things
way.
that we can do our way, but if it's at 15%, because there are things, I believe that there are things that if the Mass General Law said 15%, we could say 20, but we couldn't
Oh,
say
yeah.
12.
Correct.
Okay, here's my,
superseded.
one of my assumptions would be that if Mass General Law was the only position that we could take, that probably recall would have simply referred to Mass General Law. And
Maybe.
not have been put in the charter.
Don't know.
But we'll find that out.
We will
Yeah.
find that out. Rather than argue about it, we will
So-
find that
Can't
out.
argue. Just-
Madam
Only
Chair.
if it-
Yes, sir.
Only if it allows it to go less then, right? So, I mean, you could put it in there
Well,
if
we
you
can-
want to
we'll-
go more.
We'll
than-
find out.
Right.
So can we,
I mean,
Doesn't-
it could
you
be in
can't-
there and still
you
be in the
can't
master.
conflict.
Okay. What?
We don't have a recall law.
We don't have a recall law?
There's no general law allowing for the recall of state, county, or district-wide elected officials in Massachusetts. No statewide law.
Just as a point of history.
But that is state, county, we are local.
Local options, some individual towns such as Monterey,
Monterey,
California?
California?
Massachusetts.
This is Massachusetts.
Okay.
That's what I double checked, that I was in Massachusetts,
Something that
have been able to establish their own
One thing that you should all
recall.
know, as far as recall is concerned, that the only towns that are allowed to have recalls are towns that have charters. And that was one of the advantages of having a charter back in the day, is because
That's a
before
good-
that, we didn't have the option of recall.
That's interesting. Okay. Richard?
We can get back on task.
Yes.
We've come to consensus on that so far. We're memorializing that, okay? Outside of public safety.
Outside of public
We've
safety.
made a consensus on that decision. Now I want to look at some of the issues of, if we can, administering and coordinating all employees and activities. What does that mean?
Minister and coordinate. Well, the same thing could be said for manage. It's one of those are words that are fuzzy at best.
And the goal is to get fuzziness out of the charter and
This
to
is
make
under
it
the
clear.
TA.
This is under the TA. though.
Correct, yeah.
Let's leave that till later.
That's fine, okay, if that's what you want to do.
Stick with the charter for the BA, or the Board of Selectmen.
Fine, okay, I've got some more words from them, too. Oh, okay, then can we go to 323 again? That's still that discussion. Shall not normally administer the day-to-day operation. Shall not normally.
Yes, and you want to get rid of normally.
I want to get rid of shall not. I want to get rid of normally and just say shall
That's
not.
what I mean, you want to get rid of normally. Right.
We have a consensus on
I
that?
think we do.
Yep.
Okay,
And I have a question on 311, way back.
yep. Oh, I know, yeah.
We had a discussion.
Yeah.
Not that we came to any conclusion, but should it be 5, should it be 7? And in that same paragraph, should it be 2-year terms if it's 7, rather than 3-year terms? Which also helps, it would help, this is theoretical, it would only help in terms of every 2 years, somebody could be thrown out if we wanted.
Having to run for
Oh, God, having to
run
run
election
every 2 years.
2 years.
I just threw that out
Hmm.
as,
Part
That's
of
a
the problem.
Topic of discussion.
yeah, yeah, it's,
Okay. And I don't think we talked about increasing the select board at one point, and we came to no conclusion.
Correct.
Because there was a back and forth, and there's no conclusion on it. Do you
There are
want-
no boards on the Cape greater than 5 right now. Doesn't mean right or wrong, but there are no boards out there. I will respectfully disagree on the 2-year.
I don't have any position on it.
And I think a 3-year is appropriate. By the time you get on a board, hopefully stay relatively quiet for a year, learn the ropes of the board, step up, 2nd and 3rd year, you're just getting aware. And we have people who, frankly, have been elected who have no idea how a municipality runs.
That's right.
They have no idea of what the bylaws are. They have no idea what the policies and procedures are. And it takes them a year to cut up to speed. So 3 years is great.
It's too bad we can't include a list of qualifications to run for select board.
Right.
It's just the point that we looked at.
Oh, yeah.
I-
No, and
I
we should
wasn't
come
asking
to a decision.
Right.
We talked about 5 to 7
Right.
topics on the table.
5. My vote is 5.
I think we stayed at, I think we were pretty much staying at 5.
We didn't discuss it, but
We did to some degree.
We did
We did to
discuss
some
it.
degree. Your points were very good in terms of, you gave out the benefits. We were looking for all the negatives, and we had a hard time coming up with negatives. That was our discussion.
My only thought initially with 7 was if we were ever to do something like call for a select board member to be elected from each district of the town.
Oh,
Make
at
sure
large.
we had
or- yeah.
That would be tough.
representation for each district, and then you would, have 3 at large. And that would give you the room if you were redistricted, so that if you suddenly had 5 precincts, you'd have 5 members elected from one from each precinct, and then 2 at large. I think it's an interesting thought. I'm not sure how it would go over, but it would.
I floated it for a few people in the community. And one of the greatest concerns that I heard getting people to run?
Exactly.
Can you get people to step up to do it? It's a good question. I do like the idea of representation.
Well, if you're
Of-
in it, if you're only running in your precinct, then that's a smaller group of people that you have to talk to.
But,
But
Okay.
it's also, you have those people that you may be more inclined to, it's almost like getting, business money in a campaign. We're always complaining about the politicians are beholden to the oil people and these people and that people. Does having at-large mean they're more beholden to the community as opposed to their
well, yeah.
precinct?
But she has a good point, Sandy has a good point, that we have 4 precincts right now, correct?
Yeah.
So you have 4 of the 7 running from precincts, but it's, again, a town election, so they're not just running in their precinct. They're,
3 would be running at large.
right, there are 3 at-large members. And the goal, if people forget, is diluting some of the power of an individual select board member or 2 that frankly can control a board. With 7, the majority becomes 4. Makes it more difficult and hopefully more reason in some of the decisions that are being made.
And I would state to that, it might, from a broad perspective,
Mhm.
it might eliminate some of the problems that the town has had with projects. I'm not being represented, nobody cares about my part of town,
Mhm.
because now you have, so it really, so it's something we need to really think about.
I think what we would need to do is have an offside review of how you would split. Thank you.
Can I throw out one thing on my way out the door?
Make it quick.
Want to throw a bomb? Don't throw a bomb, and then leave.
I would just like us at some point, if we are going down this rabbit hole, to consider that single parents, whether they're male or female, or people that have elders in their house that need watching, that issue of some fund being set up for babysitting or elder care
Okay,
while they're
that's not part of this at all.
grown. Well,
That goes to the
If we're
select board
sw-
and budget.
You don't
Okay.
have one of those cards either,
what
those get out
cards?
of jail free cards.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about changing the number,
Yeah,
That doesn't change the number.
it doesn't change.
No.
Well, it could increase the number of people that actually get out there and
Maybe.
run.
But back to the, so we have 4 precincts, and we would do 3 at large. That's one proposal I'm hearing for a total of 7. We have 5 at large, which leaves it at 5. What else would we be thinking about? I'm trying to get us into.
There are 4
it-
districts with 1 at large.
You can, but the only problem with that I see is that if the town suddenly has enough people that we now have 5 voting districts, 5 precincts, then you've got 5 members and nobody at large.
Well, I mean,
Well,
So,
change
but the, and as
you
you'll,
need to
but it takes
But-
2 years to change the charter.
But
and they
can you word that, though?
redistricted,
Pardon?
they redistricted, if that's the correct word, precinct 4.
Yeah.
Precinct 4 is North Harwich and West Harwich now.
But can you word that to accommodate what you're looking for by saying, should an additional precinct be established?
Leave room in the charter to
Yeah.
add 2
Right.
more members of
Or,
the.
or no, or just say that each precinct shall be represented by a member of the board. Or that there will be a candidate from each precinct in town, period. So if you go to 5, it's 5 members, each has to come from a
Each has a
precinct.
district.
There'll be no at-large. So all you do is you just get rid of your at-large member.
That's a thought.
So
Not
I
bad.
think that rather than worry about how, if we
Yeah.
get another precinct, the concept of do we want precincts and at-large, because I agree with Richard, you would then want to put some words into the charter that, that if this happens,
Yeah.
if this, then that, if this, then that.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah,
I don't think we're that large of a town
to
to
have
have
7.
7 for one thing, and then have an elected selectman from a precinct either, you know.
That's why I was going to say that. I don't know where the I don't have a map in front of me in terms of the population of the town.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I
How
agree.
that
theoretically,
works.
East
precincts are
Harwich is
divided
2
up.
and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3 is
It's
East
2 and
Harwich by
3 is
itself,
East
so they would
Harwich.
get 2 reps.
Yeah, no, I,
No, I'm talking about.
She's
voting-
talking about
I'm
precincts.
talking about only
We
the
have
voting
defined
precincts.
areas.
As you go into town elections, you have 4 precincts.
yeah,
And I'm talking about the voters of each precinct being able to elect a member to the Board of Selectmen.
I understand what you're saying,
And then,
but I think what Tony is saying is that East Harwich is precincts 2 and precincts 3.
it doesn't matter.
And wouldn't
It
that be
doesn't
wonderful
matter.
if we had that issue, that we had 2 people from East Harwich and 2 from West Harwich and 1 from Harwich Center? That'd be great. I think the
We're
biggest
not
issue
gonna
is gonna
get the
come back
people.
down there, and I wanna hear Herb weigh in before he leaves.
What?
Are you leaving, or?
No, no, no.
He's
standing up.
Standing up.
He's just.
I'd love to hear Herb's view.
I gotta leave though, but I just wanna make one comment. I think we want to avoid getting into a situation where something becomes the captivating issue that alarms or concerns people. And I think changing the number of Board of Selectmen, or number of board members on the select board is one of those kind of issues.
PR
And
cameras.
it'll defeat or cause concerns about the success of the charter if we get, unless there's an overriding reason to make the change, and I don't hear that in this discussion.
No.
I hear, well, we want
I
to
do.
try to represent diverse entities, and then there's worries about if we're going to get enough people to even fill the seats we're adding to. I think there's nothing that's driving, let's not lose the baby with the bathwater here.
I think Paul is making a very good point.
And I agree with him.
I do too. Surprisingly, Paul, I agree with you.
And Paul, those
But
to
I
me,
have to, but
Paul,
there's one more thing I
before
want
you
to
go,
say
though, before you
I
go,
leave.
just the point of, it's not any of that. To me, it's dilution of power.
Yeah.
Right,
That's my reason.
Yeah, yeah, but that's sort of a tough
Well, it's been a problem.
issue to kind of relate to or describe or act upon.
I think we'd have a
don't
better
think
chance
it's-
of going,
A gut
we had
issue.
3 and going to 5 would be probably
Yeah, yeah.
more.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
I think
I'm hearing
that, I don't know how to, go ahead.
The discussion has to center first. Is there something there that's worth looking at, that is enough value that we should continue thinking about it? And if we, after thinking about it, it still has value, then we have to figure out a way, can it be sold? At that point, then we decide whether it's either go and sell it or cut it.
This
But-
is where
but
you
don't-
make it part of a survey.
Yeah, I wouldn't
See what
waste
people
time
have to
on
say.
these kind of issues, because
Yeah.
we could talk about them for weeks, and in the end, decide, I think, deal with some issues that are clearly errors or points that need to be corrected in it. Whether you're 3 to 5, 5 to 7, it's just stirring the pot if we change the existing number, in my view, right now, because it's not
Right.
something that people are alarmed about.
He
Deal
had
with the
something else
known.
before he was leaving. Paul, you had something else before you're leaving.
Is it germane to
That's
this
where the
topic?
problem becomes.
Paul,
It was
you had one
something
other
else.
thing?
Hang on, time.
Could I get one question in? I just want, did we agree on, or was there some consensus on this 3 points about evaluation, review, or evaluation, reporting, and hiring?
Yes.
Yes,
We've
We did.
agreed on that?
Yes.
yes. We're holding
It
up,
was your idea and we won.
right, that the person who hires evaluates and supervises.
Yeah, okay, I don't,
And we're holding police and fire to the side
Separate.
until
Yeah.
we talk to the chiefs.
but you're talking about the town administrator will appoint,
Hire,
Hire,
Higher.
the town administrator will
review.
review or evaluate,
and supervise.
right?
Yeah.
And how about the select board in this role? was there a decision that the select board is at all in the evaluation or review of these people?
Only the town administrator.
Okay,
That's where
They
we
would
are.
help
they
with
do
the
help.
I
hiring.
thought, yeah.
But they do have veto power.
They do.
Right.
I thought we
They
were
still have
giving
the
more
ve-
powers to the select board.
No, we're
on
not.
the
On everything?
review, evaluation process.
Yes?
No.
Clearly not.
Hiring.
Okay.
Paul, that will be for the TA.
Yeah,
That's where that will come
exactly.
down.
No, that's was what I.
You won, Paul.
I won.
You won.
It's gonna be the last time, but you won.
Right.
Take your get out of
Okay,
jail card
just want to
and
make
go.
that
Yeah.
clear. I don't want,
Okay, it's 7:55.
Can
I gotta leave, yeah.
Richard is almost asleep.
I just ask one question, Linda?
One question, go ahead, please.
Paul made a good point, you know, when we get this thing all baked up and ready to be sold, it's voted as a whole, not as an
Yes.
individual
Right.
thing.
Exactly.
So the
voted as a
point,
whole.
that if we
Right.
get
Keep
hung
it
up
simple.
on 7 versus 5, that is, might wreck
and
the whole
it's-
thing, yeah.
Yeah, this is how we ended up last time.
Yeah.
We didn't make a decision.
Right.
And if we're gonna park it, fine, we'll park it till later. But hearing overall consensus, although I may agree with you, sir,
Five.
we're at
Well,
5, and that's not gonna change.
Yeah.
So, can we put that to bed, we're
But I
done.
do think
Yeah.
it still needs to be
You
discussed.
brought
I'm
it
not
up
sure it
again.
needs to be in bed.
I think we have
We've
discussed, this
discussed
is our
it enough.
third discussion on it.
Done?
It's done.
Yeah.
We're done.
If
I'm
we're-
outvoted.
And if we're
Yeah.
trying to make something run better, you change that something and now you got a whole nother set of problems potentially that you don't even know about.
True.
But they can worry about that in 30 years.
But I think that what goes here is, if it isn't broken, why are we trying to fix it?
It might be
Yeah,
broken.
exactly.
Because there's a question of
I don't
whether
think it's broken.
It might,
No,
yeah.
it's not.
It
That's-
may or may not be, but is there a perception that it's broken?
No.
It might be.
Out there.
It might be a good subject for a survey at some point. The only thing I will say to you is that there are many, many things that we can change in the charter along the way. Those provisions can only be changed with the charter commission, so if there is a change to happen, it needs to happen with us.
Right.
Because there will not be another chance for another 38 years.
Form of government.
And that
is
question that you
definitely
just
the
mentioned,
commission.
is something broken? Okay? Reputation of Harwich across the Cape in personnel matters. Is it broken? That's a
It is
great
broken.
question for a survey.
Yep.
Is
But
Harwich broken?
But it's also the people have broken it. I'm not so sure the charter has broken it. The people who are supposed to be following the charter and implementing the charter and blah, 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 that's where the breaking happened. That's people.
Paul's gotta go.
All right, we gotta go.
See you, Paul.
Motion to adjourn.
Good night, Senator.
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Tony. Second, Lou. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm opposed. Let's
Good.
finish our damn work.
Duly
You're
noted.
gonna stay here till next week?
I am. I'm gonna
Duly
stay.
noted.
I think you can actually stay here till next week. We need to turn that off.
I think we're just